Hello, everybody. Welcome to Scotty B Show. Today, airline stories. Numerous of them. So this one is about Alaskan Airlines flight carrying pets. They arrived at the airport and found that the cargo area door was ajar open. So let me see how I can pick this back up here for you there. There we go. So Alaska Airlines carrying pets arrives with cargo door open as carrier and Boeing face $1 billion lawsuit. By Alex Mitchell, New York Post. Says, here we go again. Embattled Alaska Airlines is at the center of a second aviation drama after a plane arrived at an airport gate in Portland, Oregon last Friday with its cargo door open. The cargo hold was stowing passengers' pets, according to local TV station KOIN. Although none of the animals were injured, the plane had flown in from Los Cabos, Mexico. Alaska Airlines told KOIN in a statement that there was no indication to the crew that the door was unsealed during last Friday's flight, and all indications point to the door partially opening after landing. Our maintenance teams inspected the aircraft, replaced the spring in the door, tested the door, and re-entered it into service, the Alaska Airlines statement concluded. The Post reached out to Alaska Airlines for comment. Alaska Airlines hit headlines in January after a door plug blew off midair during a flight from Portland, Oregon, and Ontario, California. And here, if you can see the picture there, I'll try and bring it up closer for you later on. But the cargo door area it's open ajar, but they said they feel that it came open after the landing. So while the company appeared to downplay any issues, aviation expert John Schwetterman told KOIN that a cargo door opening up on its own as a pretty major defect. It affects a lot of the electrical equipment in that cargo hold. So it is troublesome that you may have a plane where some things like this went undetected, he said. Both Boeing and Alaska Airlines are already amid a $1 billion lawsuit over plane safety. The chair of the National Transportation Safety Board also warned that January incident could be repeated. That aircraft was a Boeing 737 MAX 8. Meanwhile, on Friday, a Boeing 737 MAX 9 rolled off a runway at Houston's George Bush Intercontinental Airport, forcing all passengers to evacuate. The United Airlines flight has been scheduled to fly to Memphis, Tennessee. So another little blick. Is it a little blick or is it a big blick? This gentleman here says that's a big deal. So tell me what you think. It said no pets were hurt, nobody was injured or anything like that. They feel that it might have jarred open on landing. So just another little thing that's going on in the airline industry, right? So just another little thing. So let's read this next one here. There's a lot of little things going on in the airline industry. A lot of little things. I saw somebody posted a short video the other day. A gentleman sitting by the emergency door jumped up, had that door not open, but he had the one arm swung up, and he was moving the other one where the door was opening, because when they grabbed a hold of him, they said they could feel the air difference. So they heard the whistle. So I don't know what's going on. It's getting crazy out there. Look at this story here. So, woman claiming to be a doctor demands emergency landing. Fellow passenger caused BS with unexpected results. So this is by 2FAB staff. An overnight flight went off the rails as the plane hit turbulence, leading to an all-out freakout, with the internet calling the man who tried to intervene an asshole for one very specific reason. So a frustrated flyer took to the internet for feedback after altercation he had the night before on a rocky flight. The story shared to an anonymous forum featured transcontinental flight that hit heavy turbulence, leading to one passenger freaking out and demanding an emergency landing. And while the conflict that ensued disrupted fellow passengers on the flight, the subsequent Reddit post seemed to cause even more controversy among the commenters. Many called the original poster, aka OP, as an asshole for intervening the way he did, while others, many of whom were flight attendants, shared another side to the whole issue. Original Reddit post, AITA, for telling a doctor to shut up on a turbulent flight. The man kicked off his story by setting the scene. 30-year-old male was on a flight from Atlanta to LAX last night, packed flight, everyone just trying to get some sleep. About 2 hours in, the lights come on and an announcement crackles through the intercom. Turbulence ahead, fasten seatbelts, pretty standard stuff, he recalled. Of course, it wouldn't have been a story worthy of the AITA, Am I the Asshole? That's what AIT stands for, TA. Forum if that was simply the end of it. Then all hell breaks loose, he added. This woman, maybe late 40s, impeccably dressed, starts freaking out, screaming about air pockets, demanding to speak to the pilot, the whole 9 yards. Flight attendant, super patient lady, bless her, tries to calm her down, explains its standard procedure, turbulence is normal. Nope, not having none of it, he explains of the irate fellow passenger. The lady, who we'll name Jane, throws a fit, OP claimed. Not the screeching nails on a chalkboard kind, but a cold, steely fury. She accuses the flight attendant of lying, of putting everyone in danger, and demands to be deplaned immediately. Flight attendant says that's not possible mid-flight, the man recounted, and Jane launches into this whole spiel about how she's a doctor, pulls out an ID to prove it, and if something happens, it's on the airline. Now the rest of the plane is awake, he said. People are grumbling, some looking scared, a baby starts crying, flight attendant is trying to reason with Jane, but it's like talking to a brick wall. Then came his response. Finally, I just lose it. I yell out, probably a little too loudly, look, lady, we all get turbulence. It's not a 5-star resort, but it's safe. Sit down, shut up before you get yourself arrested. Everyone stares at me. Jane spins around, eyes blazing, and starts in on me about disrespecting a medical professional, he claimed. I fired back that a real doctor wouldn't be causing a scene and freaking everyone out. The flight attendant dives in, trying to mediate, but the damage is done. We hit some turbulence, not terrible, but enough to jostle the plane. Jane freaks again, and some people start getting panicky. Immediately, OP said he regretted getting involved at all. I feel awful. Maybe I made things worse. The flight attendant gives me a look that could curdle milk, but then steers Jane away to talk to her privately. By the time we land, things are calmer, but the tension is thick. Jane gives me a withering look as she disembarks, and a few people mutter thanks under their breath. So AITA, did I just escalate a bad situation, or was I right to shut down a meltdown that was putting other passengers on edge? I'm honestly not sure, he wrote, concluding his post. While many Redditors seem to feel OP had overstepped and should only have gotten involved if the woman had become physically violent, others disagreed. One flight attendant, abbreviated on Reddit to FA, shared, just my little 2 cents. I am in charge of FA, and a couple of weeks ago, we had a disruptive passenger. We had to go back to the gate for a maintenance issue and got delayed about an hour. A man started cussing at everyone and yelling. When I went to see him, he started acting like he did nothing and that I was mistaken. It wasn't him. My FA was being dramatic. Another man cut me off and told him off for me. He told him pretty much everything I had to tell him, which is behave or get off the aircraft. It's sad to say, but when it was coming from me, that disruptive man was playing games, but told off by his bigger military man. He shut up and behaved the whole flight. Not a sound came out of his mouth. I obviously don't want other passengers to always get involved, but I was so grateful because it cut the BS immediately. I honestly didn't get the vibe he would have listened, and having to wait for security to kick him off would have taken so much longer. I'm not saying to always get involved, but it would not have had that situation de-escalated without that man getting involved, the flight attendant concluded. To which another commenter noted, unfortunately, I think with a certain type of guy, the dynamics change when it's a woman talking to them versus a man. In OP's case, it sounds like he's a man and the person freaking out was a woman, in which case it's likely that a man yelling at her is going to be effective in the same way. While others seem to take the whole thing a lot more personally, it doesn't matter that you're being rude to the fake doctor. It matters that you're disrespectful to the flight attendant and the other passengers. You're not Batman performing some distasteful but necessary vigilantism. You're just a second loud asshole yelling at the first loud asshole. Yet another and highest rated comment on the post dropped not only their 2 cents, but a very specific UK reference, e.g. netball. YTA, but unknowingly, the crew are trained to handle these sorts of situations, and you and your frustration escalated it. I fly a lot. I'm also a very big guy who looks like he can handle himself, he continued. There's kind of an unwritten rule that if there's an aggressive passenger, I sit the fuck down. But pay attention. Don't pump in. Don't risk making things worse in an attempt to fix the issue. Sit down, shut up, and if the crew need help, they'll ask. You ever watch or play netball? Unlike a lot of sports where players will call for the ball, open players in the netball, say here if you need. Or imagine going to the supermarket and you see someone with a pallet stocking shelves. You don't just start grabbing stuff and putting it on the shelf saying, I'm just trying to help. Let the professional handle it. So what do you think? Did the guy overstep his boundaries or what? I don't. To me, it sounded like the doctor or the fake doctor, whatever it was panicked. How about that movie Airplane? You walk up and slap him on the face, right? No, can't do that. But, I just flew from Michigan to Philadelphia, and the whole time it was turbulent, shaking back and forth, rocky. And so I understand that. It was the first time I've flown in a while, so it was uncomfortable, but I felt safe. And whether you step in or not, I guess that's up to you. Everybody feels differently on that. As long as you're not punching somebody in the face or something, try not to escalate it anymore. Try to calm it down. I think it'll be okay. But let me know in the comments what you think on that. So I appreciate y'all stopping by. God bless y'all. Have a great day, great night, whatever the case may be. We'll see you next time on the Scotty B Show.